Since 1976, the Board of Canadian Registered Safety Professionals has been committed to establishing and maintaining the standard for certification for the OHS profession and offers two certifications. Part of the standard-setting process is the use of the Modified Angoff method. The BCRSP is a public interest, not-for-profit corporation, and the certification process is accredited through the ISO IEC 17024 standard. As well, BCRSP adheres to the ISO 9001 Quality Management System standard. While the Canadian Registered Safety Professional and the Canadian Registered Safety Technician certifications both draw from the same body of knowledge, the knowledge expectation for CRSP certification holders is broader, given that they must provide objective OHS advice at the highest level of complexity required of the profession. Standard setting is an official study conducted by an organization that sponsors examinations to determine the pass mark required on an examination. To be legally defensible, a pass mark cannot be arbitrarily determined. It must be empirically justified based on the predetermined criteria.
As a standardized examination is often a requirement for credentialing, determination of an appropriate pass mark for the examination is essential to the effectiveness of the process. BCRSP uses the Modified Angoff method to determine the appropriate pass mark for its certification examinations. The pass mark, which is often referred to as a cut score, is the point that differentiates between those who pass and those who fail. Before we explain what the Modified Angoff method is, it is important to understand why we need to have a standard.
The BCRSP is making a decision to award certification to individuals and therefore needs a legally defensible process. Part of the evaluation is through qualifications review, whereby applicants provide information and documentation to verify they meet the eligibility criteria for certification. The other is a standardized examination. As an accredited certification body, the BCRSP follows the ISO IEC 17024 standard, which is the conformity assessment and general requirements for bodies operating certification of persons. Clause 9.3.5 states that appropriate methodology and procedures shall be documented and implemented in order to reaffirm, at justified defined intervals, the fairness, validity, reliability, and general performance of each examination. Using the Modified Angoff method of standard setting means that BCRSP has selected a method that is legally defensible, meets the requirements of the ISO IEC 17024 standard, is a fair assessment methodology for candidates, and is an appropriate assessment methodology for certification. The Modified Angoff method is based on the concept of the borderline or minimally competent candidate. That is, someone who possesses the minimum level of knowledge and skills necessary to perform safely and effectively.
To arrive at an agreement regarding the characteristics of a minimally competent candidate, the subject matter experts participate in extensive discussions that define the domain, roles and responsibilities of an OHS practitioner based on the level of certification with the minimum educational and experiential requirements using the examination blueprint and the eligibility criteria as guidelines.
Once committee members achieve a common frame of reference regarding the expected level of knowledge and competency of the minimally competent candidate, they are trained by a psychometric consultant on the process for rating examination questions in terms of such a candidate. This includes having a group of subject matter experts rate questions with available candidate performance data to help them gauge the accuracy of their ratings. Then, each committee member independently rates each question on the examination by determining the percentage of minimally competent candidates that they believe will answer the question correctly. Ratings are tabulated across all committee members, and group consensus is reached if the ratings for a question fall within a 25% range difference. If the rating range is greater than 25%, the committee will discuss the rationale for the ratings. If the discussion does not persuade any of the members to change the ratings will remain unchanged. This process is repeated for each question on the examination where there is a discrepancy between two ratings larger than 25%.
Once all questions have been rated by all committee members, an average rating is determined for each question and then across all questions. This outcome results in a percentage score expected to be achieved by the minimally qualified candidate for each item. This percentage rating is then applied to the total examination score to obtain a pass mark. The Modified Angoff method is item-centered, meaning it is the difficulty of the questions that is being rated, not the pool of candidates. This is important as it ensures all candidates are being judged fairly regardless of which particular examination form they write. It stands to reason that some tests will be harder than others as the questions are varied. And by using the Modified Angoff method, the BCRSP is ensuring that this difference is considered in setting the cut score for each examination. The Modified Angoff method is recognized in the credentialing industry as a best practice for criterion-referenced examinations. To recap, the Modified Angoff method is item-centered, is fair to candidates and ensures the effectiveness of the pass mark setting process, is a credentialing industry best practice, meets ISO IEC 17024 requirements, can be easily taught to be used by subject matter experts, and is legally defensible. It is the best method for BCRSP to ensure that regardless of which examination form you receive, you're being judged consistently based on the minimally qualified candidate criteria. Understanding BCRSP's use of the Modified Angoff method is important for understanding the rationale by which certification decisions are made.
If you would like more information on the Modified Angoff method, an article is available on the BCRSP website written by Yardstick Assessment Strategies, Inc.
If you have any questions about the information in this video, BCRSP can be contacted via email at info@bcrsp.ca.